Hello again, I'm Blunty, and this is the Samsung Galaxy S. It runs Google's Android operating system. It is extremely lightweight. In fact, it makes such a vague impression in your hand or pocket, one might even be forgiven for thinking that it's got no bits inside at all. But bits it has, and they are quite nice bits to boot, including the 1 GHz Hummingbird processor, which is roughly as quick as a kicked rabbit. The screen is Samsung's Super AMOLED technology, a work of electronic elegance I've gone on about in several other reviews, so I won't mention how glorious, sharp, bright and beautiful it is this time. Except for that bit. It's got 2 cameras, a 5 megapixel autofocus unit on the back, which also records 720p video and does so pleasingly, even in low light, which was a pleasant surprise. And handy, seeing as there's no flash. It keeps a running score of the file size for you too, which is neat. You even get manual control over exposure, contrast, saturation and sharpness, which is superb. But there's no manual focus control in video mode, which is not superb. But as good as it is, the video mode will be of limited use because for some reason that is utterly beyond my comprehension, there are no Android applications for even the most simplistic video editing or trimming. So to do anything useful with the pretty video it sucks in, you're going to have to transfer the files to a computer. But because it records these files in the mobile 3GP file format, you'll have to first convert the files before you can use them in many editing programs. The front-facing camera is VGA resolution and is, quite frankly, the most offensively cruddy thing on the entire phone. I now refuse to even look at the photos I took with it for fear that my eyes will explode in protest and I shall fall down dead. So because I quite like both being alive and having eyeballs, I won't use any more words talking about the pixel mangling monstrosity that is the camera on the front of this lovely shiny phone. If I'm to be honest, the Galaxy S looks quite a bit like the iPhone 3GS with its metal rim and glossy black finish, but at a screen size of 4 inches when compared side by side with the iPhone 3GS, it looks monolithic. As if at any moment many tiny monkeys are going to reenact the opening scene of 2001's Space Odyssey and immediately discover bone tools and go see the space baby. But it doesn't really feel as big as it is, probably because it's so slim and light. It runs Android 2.1, or to use Google's own stunningly absurd snack-themed naming scheme, Eclair, but Samsung have announced that it will be getting the update to 2.2, or Froyo. It has also been jazzed up a bit with Samsung's TouchWiz UI, which is rather more reserved and gentle than some other companies' attempts to give Android some polish. And amongst other things, it adds some handy improvements to the notification bar, including shortcuts for quickly toggling Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and silent modes. It also includes a nifty social networking app called Social Hub. They're up all night trying to think of that name, I betcha, for all your Twitter Facebook-facing needs. It pushes Android around in a nippy and responsive fashion, mostly. I say mostly because when it isn't being snappy and quick and responsive, it gets randomly jerky and unresponsive, and I've never really been able to pin down exactly why that happens. I suspect it's the ham-fisted way in which Android phones handle multitasking. And while the battery life isn't what one would call epic, it is certainly sufficient to last the day even with moderately heavy use. Unlike an iPhone, the back comes off, which means under there you'll find the battery, which you can replace. And there's a micro SD memory card slot for expanding the onboard memory too. The Samsung Galaxy S is, in my opinion, the best Android phone I've ever laid my hands on, and with the exception of the front-facing camera, which makes me want to grab the person who put it there and give them a big kick in their reproductive organs, and the occasional performance lag spaz, everything on and about this phone is gravy. And if you're an Android phone type of person, you're going to want to give it a serious, good, hard look. As for me, personally, I find that Android tends to lack the polish and finesse I love about the iPhone. And the apps for Android, in my opinion, don't offer the same quality and variety of those I can get and use on my iPhone. And worst of all, as a man who does as much video stuff as me, the complete lack of even basic video editing apps in the Android marketplace, let alone anything with real power, kills it completely for me. But that's just me. I've no doubt that a Google head Android fanboy will likely get very damp in his pants area about the brilliant Samsung Galaxy S. So if you are one of those type of people, check it out. Thanks for watching. I'm Blunty. I'll catch you next time.